I might be developing a cold here. All of a sudden, went to sleep. Things aren't feeling good. So we'll have to see. um, all right. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another live stream, another video. Things are looking decent for XRP. Maybe not for everything in the market, but it's looking good for XRP. We'll definitely go into what's happening today. But I want to know how everybody else is doing. I don't know if I will have like um, constant talking throughout this. We'll look at some things and talk about some things, but I think we'll dial it back just a little bit because whenever I have a cold, I typically don't want to go live because then when I'm constantly talking, it messes up my voice. So we'll see how this works. If it seems like it's bothering me or getting in the way, we'll end the live. But yeah. But how you guys doing today? Frogard. Yo, what's going on? How are you? Good morning to everybody. Ray the Goat. Hey, how are you? How are you doing? Akib. Am I saying your name right? Um, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. Good morning, Letitia. I don't know how to say your first name, Matthews, but thank you for saying stay safe, brother. All good. Okay, we got 30 people that are here. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you can, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to check out my link for BTCC, feel free to do so. The link to that platform is in the chat. It's also in the description, where you can get a 10% deposit bonus when you sign up using my link. You'll also get extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, up to a 500x leverage if you want to trade that. No VPN, no KYC. It honestly is a really good platform. I've been using it for a year now, and things have looked good. I got a couple of plays. I got one in algo that I did yesterday at a 10x leverage. We'll see how that plays out. I do have my stop loss set in there. I have quant at a 3x leverage that is down by about 6%. I have HBAR at a 2x leverage that's down by about 3%. OKB at a 3x leverage, it's up by 291%. Terra Luna Classic, you have a 10x leverage at 40%, that's there. ADA, 49%. Auction is 30% down. Comp is 22% down. CAS is 251% up. AVAX is looking at a 534% increase, and 13% increase for Jasmy. So I'm constantly investing into newer things, better things, any opportunities that I find that are out there. I might have to take on another opportunity as we move forward, and we will see how that plays out. But things are looking good for my leverage trading portfolio. I'm not complaining about it at all. I mean, some positions I'm up by $1,000. So I'm not gonna complain about leverage trading. It honestly is a good platform. So check it out if you want to sign up. The link is in the chat for BTCC. There's also a giveaway going on. If you sign up, deposit, and trade, you can win 500 USDT to split. 1,500 to split. 500 USDT for 3 winners. And I'll tell you right now, I've said it in many videos, there's only one person that has signed up, deposited, and traded. So that person at the moment is guaranteed to win 500 USDT. So two other winners that kind of guaranteed their spot in there could potentially win a free 500 USDT. So take advantage of that if you have the opportunity. Anyways, let's see what's happening in the chat. Then we'll go into where XRP is. Thank you for all your videos and all you do here on here. It's my first time seeing you live. It's nice to see you live and breathing. Well, thank you. Thank you for stopping by, first of all. And yeah, the videos that I do, I try and provide as much as I can. I don't really care 100% about all the views that I can gain from it, but more or less a lot of the positions that I hold, I try and talk about. And just because, as I'm holding them, I'm showing you that I believe in those positions. As I continue to buy them, I show that I believe in those positions. But it's great to be live. I would love to, be live a lot more for a longer period of time during the day and just have conversations about where crypto is, look into all the news, look into what you guys see as opportunities, and go from there. So yeah, thank you for being here. Good morning. That's my nickname, bro. Good to hear. I'll get well soon. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I went to sleep for like maybe 10 minutes last night while I was on the couch, and all of a sudden I woke up with kind of a scratchy throat. And I was like, what in the world did that? Was it the ice cream that I ate beforehand? Like, I don't know. But then all through the night, that was the problem. And I didn't have any zinc or anything. So of course it has to happen on a time when I don't have any zinc. Black seed oil, bro. I'll have to look into it. Sea moss? What about sea moss? Do I like take sea moss? What's up, Matt? What's going on? And over 3 again. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's great to see it. I was just having some conversations about XRP with a former coworker yesterday, and XRP looked great during that day. It looks good today. I want to see it over, not only over that $3 mark, but over $3.65, breaking the all-time high, getting to $3, 84 cents or $4. That's what we want to see as XRP holders. Scratchy throat, pause. Just I tried to make sure that it wasn't a pause moment. So I don't know if that's a pause moment, because I could have said a lot of other things that probably would have been worse. You saw how I took like a second to say like what was wrong with my throat. So, uh, greetings from Turkey. The Turkey. Which coins in your portfolio do you trust the most? Could you share them? I would probably say a lot of the ones that are top cryptocurrencies, that are top utility projects, like those are the ones that I really trust the most. It's never just, I mean, I trust all of them in my portfolio. I'm gonna look at my watch list, because most of the ones that are in my watch list are in my portfolio. Any of the top cryptocurrencies, kind of like how you invest into the stock market, you're looking for the consistency, you're looking for those positions or ETFs that are going to be long-standing and always provide you with that growth over time. And I think a lot of them in what I'm holding, definitely Ethereum, trust it 100%. Especially where I bought it, it was at like $2,000. So where it stands here today, I trust it for sure. But XRP is one of those. Solana, Cardano, AVAX. I have a lot of these in my portfolio. Chronos, I trust a lot. But then there's other ones that maybe I don't have as much trust in. right? That I feel like might not be might not be a bigger player, but could be, right? I have Book of Meme that I spent $4,000 on. It's a meme coin. Anyone that's a meme coin, it doesn't provide me with the most trust in it because they're not really like meant for long-standing growth. It's meant for the short term for people to make a decent amount of money, as well as the growth that we can see over the altcoin season. Maybe it could happen over a year to make it more long term. But let's be honest, it's more of a short term play. Everybody's mindset is, hey, get into this play and get out with a gain, right? Same thing goes for some other meme coin plays that I have in my possession that honestly haven't broken out. Like, MAGA hasn't broken out. GME has made some moves, so I'm confident in that. Honestly, I think I might find a way to buy some more, but we'll see. But there's Grok, maybe I don't have as much trust in it just because it hasn't shown the level of growth that it should. But the ones that I do, JasmyCoin, Algorand, Cosmos, a lot of the top cryptocurrencies that are worth multiple billions of dollars. Yeah, I have the most trust in. XRP equals $33.40. Make a screenshot. I'll remember it. $33.40. How do you feel about Jasmy pushed out of top 100? It went to like 103. So I'm not worried about it. And it all depends on what grows, right? Other things come in and they're worth a little bit more. Yeah, it's not something that I'm worried about. Seeing Jasmy one below the $1 billion mark, seeing Jasmy pushed out of the top 100. I honestly think that's where it thrives the most, um, because um, JasmyCoin will be worth a lot more, but as I've seen it, you look at it on the second page, you look at it on the third page, maybe, right? People find it where it's like more valuable. Things are lower priced. They're like, all right, I'm at a low price. Let me get into this play that a lot of people were talking about. So you find it more valuable as it is at a lower price, honestly, which doesn't fully make sense. But people look at it differently. It's like when you have Amazon that's sitting at $2,000 versus $1,000 or versus $200 at it does a 10-to-1 split, and now it's worth $200. So a lot of people will look at it and go, all right, Amazon's at a low price, let me buy it, let me be a part of that. Same thing kind of goes for JasmyCoin. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Brandon White. Can Jasmy be successful with Hara? Why isn't Hara CEO making any effort to remove her from the viewing screen? Um, Say that again? Why isn't Hara's CEO making any effort to remove her from the viewing screen? I have no idea what you're talking about, but do I think that like Jazzy can be successful with? I mean, I think it can. I don't know what they have planned behind the scenes. I don't know what they're doing fully behind the scenes. Um, that's what makes it kind of interesting, I guess, to me. I just don't, I'm not saying I'm like the 100% confident. Like, there's other people that couldn't do a better job with getting Jasmy's name out there or having newer things, news in general about JasmyCoin, because we have nothing. We can go a long time without anything happening. And, you know, you should have some sort of news. You should have something that's happening, some sort of comments that are going on about it, and roadmaps to what it should be doing. Like I feel like there should be more information, and that's what a lot of people's gripes are with Jasmy, is the fact that we don't know what's happening. We can talk about where Jasmy's price is, the price prediction. We can talk about what they could be doing, but it's not necessarily telling us what they are doing. You know what I mean? XRP has already hit its top this bull run. You just have to wait for the next cycle. That's not true. You think it hit its top, getting close to its all-time high rather than breaking the all-time high? Matthew, was there bad ETF news? Not that I know of. Um, I just put ETF news. Crypto ETF news. So, recent crypto ETF news is focused on a flurry of new filings for spot crypto ETFs, specifically involving altcoins like Chainlink, Solana, and XRP. This activity is fueled by a new, more crypto-friendly regulatory and environment and growing institutional demand following the successful launch of a spot Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. Defined successful for Ethereum earlier in the year. I would say successful as in like you have money that's inflowing into it. It's just when it first launched, you expected the same growth and movement that you did with Bitcoin, and you didn't see that. You actually saw uh, Ethereum hit low levels, like fall hard. um, Chainlink early September 2025, Grayscale and Bitwise both filed with the SEC to launch spot Chainlink ETFs. XRP, several spot XRP ETF applications are progressing through the SEC with many final deadlines expecting October 2025. Analysts believe approval odds are high due to regulatory momentum and increasing institutional demand. You have Doge, an analyst with Rex Shares, a firm that launched a Solana staking ETF in July, suggests a Dogecoin ETF could be approved soon by following a similar regulatory path. I don't know about that, right? A Dogecoin ETF. I mean, I don't know. I may be on the other side, right? I just don't see the point in having an ETF for a meme coin unless you truly have um, some long-standing value with it, which it could, and it could transform from that meme-like personality to something worth a lot more and used a lot more. And you have changes that can be made. You have upgrades that can be made. So maybe it will. Truth Social, an ETF filing from Truth Social, which would hold Bitcoin and Ethereum as its SEC deadline pushed to October 2025. I know there was something with like the all-encompassing ETFs, um, multi-asset ETFs like hashtags have emerged to offer investors exposure into multiple cryptocurrencies. That's what I want to see. First spot, Solana and first staking ETF um, launched in July and quickly gained traction. What is that? Staking ETF plus staking ETF. What is that ETF? Is it Rex? Is that what that is? I didn't even know about that. But I want a actual staking ETF or a stakeable position ETF to where you can gain, you know, a dividend basically. Because that stands at a $33 price point. He said it's gained traction. When did that launch? July 2025. It has gone from $33, or sorry, it has gone from a low of $25 to now being at about $33. Um, a Rex Osprey Soul plus staking ETF that is up by 30%. Has grown pretty heavily. Are we going to see it kind of dip down and die? The problem that I have with this is, I would love to see at least a payout, some sort of yield, but you're not really seeing that. You have an expense ratio of 1.4. That's that's pretty high. Yeah, that's insanely high. What's the I was gonna say what's the Bitcoin ETF? But we'll have to go into what those are. I can't think of them off the top of my head. They have BTF, CoinShares, Bitcoin, and Ether ETF. Oh, it looks like there's a yield on this one. CoinShares, Bitcoin, ETF. It looks like there's a decent yield on that, 1.58%, but the expense ratio is 1.25. And that's CoinShares, Bitcoin, and Ether ETF. Over time, let's look at, I guess, the last 3 months or however long it's been. It's grown by 31%. This would be pretty interesting. It's crypto futures. A fund does not invest directly into crypto. Its performance may differ significantly from the performance of underlying crypto assets. This fund entails significant risk, including the possible loss of your investment. Okay. It's not something I like to hear. So if it doesn't invest directly into it, BTF is actively managed, investing in a portfolio of CME, Bitcoin, and Ether futures, treasuries, corporate bonds, and cash. The fund has no direct exposure to Bitcoin or Ether. Then what's the point of calling it that? You're more or less, well, I guess more or less directly investing into the futures, not into. That's crazy. But it's interesting to have any type of yield. That's what I want to see, right? I want to have something that provides me a yield, because this is my dividend portfolio, and I would love to see that grow. Anyways, we haven't jumped into where XRP is right now, so let's dive into XRP. It currently stands at $3. It is at a 2.8% gain. We're seeing a decrease from the $3.03 level, but it is around a $180 billion market cap with about $7 billion worth of volume. Volume to market cap ratio is 3.8%. It's a lot of volume, and it's also a very high market cap. So you can't really push the volume too far for how much we're seeing XRP move, right? If we see 10 billion, 20 billion, 30 billion, the levels of Bitcoin and Ethereum like volume, we start to see it really skyrocket. This cat over here is scratching things, using things as a scratching post that he shouldn't. Spencer. Spencer. Oh, it was you. It wasn't Spencer. It was Liv. Why are you doing that? Why are you scratching things? It was this little lady. Um, but yeah, Bitcoin, or sorry, not Bitcoin. XRP sitting at a $3 price point. Again, it might end up retracing and falling back below that $3 price point, but it's great to see it back up to those levels, especially after dropping down, 280. I don't even know. I think it might have gotten to 270 something. It didn't get to my my buying point. I wanted to buy some XRP at a 270 level, and I think I had an order for it, but I don't think it got filled. It didn't get filled because it was on BTCC. But the circulating supply, I am noticing they did add a little bit of supply, so it's at 59.6, 59.61 XRP. Fully diluted value, where's that at? Is at $300 billion at the current price. Because if they added the full 100 billion that's out there, you would be at a $300 billion market cap. All-time high. Keep your butt down, lady. Nobody wants to see your butt. Looks like I'm lagging a bit. I should not lag at all. With the upload speeds that I have, I shouldn't lag at all. But make sure you guys hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. We got 70 people that are here, 29 likes. I would like to get to about 35 or 40 likes. So if you guys can hit the like button, I would greatly appreciate it. So he's shilling this stuff for a gamble. I'm not shilling anything for anybody. I talk about the tokens that and the tokens that I have, the coins that I have, to show that I believe in those coins a lot. Also on Pump Fund token. I haven't looked into it. I can't stand these crypto YouTubers. You realize that you could just leave. You know what? I don't even care. Yeah, goodbye. I don't care about reading any more messages from you. Thank you. You're one of the crypto players who produce quality content, watch from other countries around the world. You're the one who inspires us the most about Jasmy. Thank you. Well, thank you for saying that. That makes me feel great. I try my best to talk about projects that I believe in, and not necessarily to tell you, hey, you need to buy this, but try and put out strategies that I have, different things that I look at, and hopefully you can learn from that or add some things to your own strategy with investing, whether it's investing more long term, investing more short term, or whatever you find in a certain play. Maybe I open your eyes to what this is, what that is, right? What your next utility play will be, or something like that. So thank you for saying that. Good morning, bro. You should have some type of tea with tons of honey for the stream. Yeah, I mean, I have tea upstairs. I just never, I haven't made it in a while. That's probably not a bad idea. I got some honey. I got some lemon. This cat is chill. I think it's more culture. Like you see all this innovation or innovative tech in China slash Japan, but the companies themselves just wait till final product, no hype or anything. Just let the product do the talking. Yeah, they do. They do that when there's something that's actually needs to be talked about. Um, Obviously they'll let the world talk about what that is. They'll release the information on the roadmap and where they're going. Then once it does it, or once they have it out there, they will release it, and then we kind of provide that word of mouth. They don't really provide the marketing. That's kind of something that I do like about Jasmy, is there's not much of that marketing side of it, and most of it comes from people like me or people like you or people on Twitter. Um, but you saw what happened in the beginning, right? Not in the beginning, but um, at least the beginning of the interest in Jasmy, because there was only probably two, maybe three people that were talking about JasmyCoin, um, before everybody on YouTube decided to mention it when it jumped up, 500%, or looking at a 10x in your gains from the 40% of a penny mark to 4 cents. Looking at that, there was a lot of people that just all of a sudden started talking about it, and that's where that hype, that's where that attention really comes from. Um, and you can see the same thing once you start seeing that movement, once you start seeing that FOMO into that, and things that are being developed and put out there, you really start seeing people talk about it, and you really start seeing XRP move even more. Sorry, not XRP, JasmyCoin move a little bit more. Tentera don't post it, just the norm for the culture. Yeah. Where do you think Jasmy will go to? I mean, my goal is $1 to $1.50. You're not lagging. It was just 1 second of lag. It happens, dude. Well, I'm glad it was only 1 second. But what they pitched me as, you should never have any lag, as long as everything's running smoothly, which it is running smoothly. Upload speeds are way more than what I get with Xfinity, or what I had with Xfinity. The upload speeds were like 40 megabytes per second with Xfinity. Try to keep your butt down. Don't climb up here. Or you can climb up here if you want. Trying to keep your butt off of the screen, lady. Um, what's with that rumor about crypto and no taxes? I believe there was a couple of things that were spread about no taxes on U.S. cryptocurrencies. I know there's some countries that don't have short term or don't have capital gains tax, but they do have other taxes you have to worry about. But yeah, I know that there was something there. I haven't heard anything more on that than what the rumor was and what the expectation was, I guess. But it was to have no taxes on U.S. cryptocurrencies, which would have included XRP and the gains that you saw there. But I don't think that has happened, especially with the gains that we've seen in XRP so far. Algorand Foundation to relocate headquarters to United States. If that um, becomes true about a U.S. crypto, does that make Algorand a U.S. cryptocurrency if they relocate their headquarters to the United States? I'm going to wonder, what's your target price for XRP this bull run? So the total bull run, I would love to see a level of $20 to $25. That's kind of my target price. But again, I have certain exit prices that I plan on. Now I got cat hair in my mouth. I got certain exit prices that I plan on moving with XRP, and it starts at $5. So not really the highest price possible, but I feel like I got hair in my mouth. Um, but like I said, I want to see these high prices, and I want to see multiple exit prices hit for me, um, as well as the long-standing growth. Right, I have a certain amount of XRP that I'm gonna hold forever, and I don't plan on um, selling that anytime soon. Honestly, ever. Right, I plan on holding it for what I just said, forever. Um, but it really all depends, right? If you see a $10,000 price point for XRP, sure, I might convert some of that into other assets, rather than holding on to 10,000 XRP for you know 10 years. I would love to continue to do that, but it depends on the prices that it hits short term, right? If it goes up to $10,000 and finds a place to settle at $1,000, then for sure I'm gonna take a little bit of that and then settle on a decent amount of holdings. Um, Maybe one or to 3,000 XRP there, but I will have some forever, and I do plan on making selling having selling points around the $5 level, around the $10 level, around the 12 and 13 and $15 level at certain amounts that I want to sell just for profit gain. But that's throughout the whole process, right? And I expect you guys to have exit plans as well. Whether your exit plan is something more aggressive, I would expect you guys to have, exit plan to where you can collect your initial investment, maybe a little bit of profit at certain parts that you're looking at a 10x gain, 20x gain from what you had there. You take, um, you know, 10% of that, right? You take 20% of that, and you're happy with your initial investment. You're happy with your little bit of profit, and as you move along, you can continue to take profit as you move the years. And for me, it's not about a timeline; it's about price, um, the prices of XRP. Good morning. What's your target price for? Oh, I read that. My my price target for CRO is $1. I mean, my starting target price for CRO is definitely there at $1, um, but it's not going to be all of it, right? I have about 200,000 that is staked. Um, that's staked for the private icy white card, and I'm happy about that. That I have the icy white. Well, I sort of have it. I'm having issues with CRO trying to or crypto.com and trying to get the card, and fully apply for the card because it's not allowing me to verify my phone. And I contacted support. They said that just delete the app, reinstall the app, make sure you have the latest version. Um, Also, you can clear out cache or something, or I I I don't know. None of it's working. Nothing is working. I can verify my phone number, or my phone through the settings if I wanted to verify phone, but when I'm doing it through the credit card, it doesn't send me a message. So I can't verify my phone. And it kind of upsets me because I would love to have that card and be able to utilize that card because it's 4% that I can gain back with all of my spending that I have. And currently going on my Amex Gold card, I don't want to use the Amex Gold card anymore. I want to cancel that card completely, um, because it's just not providing me with the value. And I explained that in one of my last credit card videos. Delusional. I don't think I'm delusional. I think I have realistic expectations. People thought the same thing when I said JasmyCoin was going to pass 1 cent, that it was going to pass 2 cents, that it was going to be worth more than 5 cents. And when I continue to talk about these things and I believe in them, like I see what I'm going to put you down. I know you want to be here, but I'm going to put you down. You're getting cat hair all over me. Nope, you can't be up here. Um, So yeah, I don't think I'm delusional. I've seen the success, um, in a lot of the positions that I own, and there's going to be a lot more success in a ton more positions. While I have some that are still down to this day, when we do see altcoin season, we do see more use cases that are being developed for different cryptocurrencies. Um, we will see massive gains for a lot of the plays that I do own because I'm giving it time. I have patience. Most people that are investing don't have that patience. They claim that they do, but then when you go through a 3-year bear market, when you go through a 4-year bear market or 4-year lows for some plays, you start to get impatient and you start to follow the ones that are moving. You're like, Bitcoin is moving and my coin, uh, what border, I don't know, border coin. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what project it is. It could be desk coin. It could be Litecoin. Well, Litecoin is a thing. But either way, your coin that you decided to invest into is not making any moves. So then you're like, I need to follow the ones that are. But then you end up chasing those positions because XRP ran or because Bitcoin ran or Ethereum ran. Now you want to find a way into those plays because it's like those are the ones, right? But then now you see other altcoins that are moving. Litecoin starts to move. Uh, Chainlink starts to move. Whatever the position that you had before that you gave up on because you're just impatient. Patience is key in the investing game. It doesn't matter if it's in the stock market, in the crypto market, in a real estate market. It doesn't matter. Patience is key, and most people don't have it. So I don't. Anyways, I don't think I'm delusional. I have my own expectations, and when my expectations are hit, people that call me delusional or people that say you don't know what you're talking about are suddenly just not there to communicate and say, what has happened or apologize for the fact that, they constantly, badger people, constantly will come through and say, you're horrible at what you do and you're never going to see any success, even though I'm constantly seeing success. you know, um, I have just over 34K tokens of XRP. My exit strategy is similar, selling 1,500 every dollar gain starting at 5, holding 10K for the long haul. Yeah, I think that's a great plan, first of all, because that means that you're holding 30% for the long haul, but you have an exit plan or an exit strategy to give you your initial investment and see it grow from $5 to $10 and be able to take, your initial investment plus gains throughout that time period, seeing it grow from $10 to $20 and seeing it continue to um, make those moves, and you're selling 1,500. And then at a certain point, it kind of feels like you stop and you just accept what you have and you just let it sit there for a long time. For me, my forever balance is less than 10%. It's like 5% of what I own, right? So seeing that your forever balance is 30% of what you own, that's good. I mean, it takes a lot to know that you still have 30% left in there and the prices could be at a high point, um, a very high point. The one thing that I want to make sure when you look at these exit plans is you set realistic exit plans. If people say, I'm not selling till this gets to, um, $100 per coin or $1,000 per coin, $100 might not happen until the next bull run, right? You could see $25 or $30 as bull run, and then you're waiting for $100, right? Then you have to really test your patience because not only are you going through a bear market to see XRP at 30 cents or so, then you go up to this bull market where you see it at $3, $5, $10, $25, and then you see it retrace from those highs, whatever that high is, and then it gets to a bear market where it may be at 50% of that price. So let's say it was at $20 and it's at a $10 price point from that $20 mark. Now you have to hold through the bear market and hold through those lows and then see it kind of progressively get back to where it should be, if not more, over the next bull market, right? So if you decide to implement an exit plan where instead of you taking all of your profits at $100 per coin, you're now deciding to accept a little bit of profit here, accept profit here, accept profit here, accept profit here, right? Now it gets to the peak of the bull market and starts to retrace. What do you now have the opportunity to do? You can find other investments. You can invest more into XRP if you want to, because it is a bear market, right? Um, so you have the opportunity to throw some of that money that you made back into XRP to gather more XRP for the next bear market. Or you can gather other plays that are up and coming. But if you decide to just hold it throughout that entire time, um, unless you have a lot of money to invest and continue to invest in bear markets, but most of the gains that you make over a bull market can give you the funds to consistently invest in the bear market. That makes sense? So if I make, I don't know, $300,000 and I end up having to pay taxes on those gains, um, and let's say the net amount that I make is 200,000 or something. Um, Now, especially, I think it is long term at that moment. I think November is when everything is long term. So I hope that nothing happens before November. But let's say it is 200,000, and now I have 200,000 to throw into a lot of other plays that I believe in during the bear market, right? So that's something that I want to be able to do. I want to have enough money to throw into my long term plays, find newer crypto plays, um, not brand new, but ones that have up and coming use cases and haven't really fully broken out. That's what I want. And ones that have retraced down to lower levels, but then are expected to recover in that next bull market. Those are the ones that I want. Guys, if you could you hit the like button? We got 86 people that are here, and we're below the like to view ratio. If you can get me up to about 55 or 60 likes, that would be amazing. So please hit that like button. It does help out. I'm selling every CRO once it reaches 70 cents to a dollar. That's a good plan, right? I think that CRO and crypto.com have definitely still have a larger future. It does bother me um, about what CRO has done, or what crypto.com has done by, adding all that CRO that's there. Um, However, I still feel like there is a lot use case wise. There's a lot that they are developing that really makes me insanely interested um, about where they will go and what the market cap will be and what the future will bring, because it's definitely different than what you see, right? They utilize CRO in everything that they're doing. So it's very, very interesting, and that's why I still have, or I decided to stake um 100,000+ CRO for over a year. um Total amount about 180, 186 or 189 thousand that I've staked for a year, because one, I want to be able to gain with the cards and what I can gain back in CRO, but also um, like the interest in what are they going to do, what are they going to develop. So what's going to happen next? Because there's a lot of people that didn't expect the treasury, or you know having the type of impact that it had so far. Anthony, that's at least having a game plan. Yes. I think you should always have some sort of game plan on when you want to start selling your cryptocurrency for gains and how much you want to hold in the end. Do you think spring bounce? Wait, do you think spring bounce once PAL's gone? Um, do I think spring bounce once PAL's gone? Um, I would assume so. I think we're probably going to have Um, I don't know. I would assume so. I'm not gonna go into short term outputs or short term price predictions, um, because I have something in my mind, but I don't like to put those things out there because it's price related. I don't really look at it based on timeline. I look at it based on the impact of the season whenever that season does happen, and all of my exits, all of my profits that I take are based on price. So I don't like to base it on, what date. Like I think that this is going to run, what season, where do I think that this is going to run. It's based on altcoin season actually happening, right? Um, and sorry, I was reading something. Um, altcoin season actually happening, and more or less my price targets being hit for XRP, for JasmyCoin, for many of the positions that I own. I think you're doing things right. I respect. I respect. Love your videos. Trying to walk my path. Well, thank you for saying that. I respect a lot of what you guys are doing as well. Like, not necessarily just like, hey, I'm investing in the Jasmine coin because you got me in the Jasmine coin. It's more about bringing up uh, different positions that you hold, different positions that you believe in. It's showing me, what your strategy is, and showing me that this is not just like a copy and paste type of channel. Hey, I have XRP, you're buying XRP. I have Jasmine coin, you're buying Jasmine coin, and there's no other reasons as to what it is. So, um, I think more or less when you say walking my path, um, I hope it just means like developing a strategy, being able to take uh, profit over time, and finding plays that you truly believe in based on the research and based on the news that's out there about crypto in general. 5 a.m., brother. It's 6:24 a.m. for me. Um, you expect people to be here so early? How do you expect people to be here so early? I mean, I don't. You can if you want to, um, but it all depends on where you are, right? I'm on the East Coast. I do wake up really, really early. I wake up at 4:30 every morning just to be able to, get some things done, see where the market is going, especially with the fact that the market typically will run when we see like major runs. We typically will see it at like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. So usually when I would go live, it would be right after that. And if I get any type of an alert, I might end up going live at that time. It all depends on what's happening the day before or the morning of, I guess. You will keep some of the profits of this bull market in stable coins to buy crypto again later. What's your favorite stable? So no, I don't keep them in stable coins. If I had to pick a favorite stable coin, I would probably say it's USDC. Um, However, I wouldn't keep it in stable coins. I would keep it in cash, either on the exchange or it would actually be transferred to my account. Um, if I see it in the exchange, then most likely I will do something with it. And also, I want to put it into a place that I've had the most trust for my 34 years of living, right? Which would be, even though you shouldn't really trust the banks at the moment, I would put it in my bank account to be able to utilize. Now, the issue with that is that now you have to go about transferring that back if you are going to make that move. So, um, yeah, I don't know exactly where I will put it at the moment, especially as I start having larger amounts of cash that I need to hold from these profits. But also, um, if I see something that is, you know, I don't know, maybe a consistent like longer term thing that I can invest into, maybe an ETF or something. Not necessarily in my I probably would move into technology, but either way, not necessarily in my dividend portfolio, because if I put it in my dividend portfolio, it stays in my dividend portfolio. But anything else that sits there, I'll probably put into my bank account until altcoin season ends, and you see the bear market to where I can find opportunities then. So that's something that I'll do. But again, we're not there yet, so I haven't done that. But yeah, once I start taking profit, I'll start relaying those messages. I'm holding 1.3 billion Shiba. I'm planning on taking profit when Shiba reaches a 10x. Yeah, I see the 10x for Shiba Inu. I think Shiba Inu is sitting at an $8 billion market cap. Am I right? $7 to $8 billion. Shiba. Oh, that's the wrong SHIB. I hate that happens. So Shiba Inu is sitting at a $7.69 billion market cap with $263 million worth of volume. Getting to a 10x will be an $80 billion market cap. For a lot of the top meme coins, I see those $100 billion levels fully in play. Dogecoin at $150 billion, Shiba Inu at $100+ billion, seeing Pepe, up in that range of 40 is what I see it at, 42 to $50 billion market cap, and then seeing others that are making moves into single digit billions, if not tens of billions of dollars. You can look at a lot of different plays and say that, but yeah, I don't think that's a horrible play. You have 1.3 billion Shiba Inu though. That's great. Sitting with 4 zeros, 1305. I still only have 100 million. So you're in a better spot than I am when it comes to Shiba Inu. What's your cost basis? Are you below your or above your cost basis right now? Or you, hopefully you are with 1.3 billion. Hopefully you are currently above your cost basis and making profit at the moment. That's what I meant, not below it. No, but I've been looking for an opportunity. I might have to go into Chainlink because but Chainlink has run quite a bit, hasn't it? I feel like Chainlink is worth a lot more than where it was, but I don't know if I necessarily see it coming down farther. So the lowest point was 22 in the last year, looking at a low of 11 or even lower than that, right? You're up 118%. I feel like Chainlink is great, right? Don't get me wrong, Chainlink is amazing in how far it has grown, seeing the higher highs and higher lows that are being created. Not necessarily the highest spike, but looking more of a consistent route, looking more like an ETF, honestly, rather than anything. So you're close to your average currently. So seeing where this is, would have loved to have made a move down here, and I think I did when I was trading some leverage trading plays, but I did end up selling some at a level of 15, I believe. But I would like to have a decent leverage. I don't think this is the play for me. Even though it has a lot of upside, it also has a little bit of downside from the growth that we've seen, because we've seen this peak right there. We've seen a decrease down to 10, a peak to 24, a decrease down to 12, and then an increase to 26 here. So it's like slowly hitting higher highs, but you're also looking at maybe a little bit of a drop from seeing that other peak that it creates, because this is the high 24, this is the high 26. So yeah, it's tough to say. So I wouldn't want to make a move into Chainlink right now. If you're looking at it for the long term or you're not looking at leverage trading, that could be a different story and you could see the success and movement in Chainlink. But I'm looking for a play that can give me a lot more growth. I think Litecoin is not bad. If I did, I was going to say a 2x leverage or 3x leverage. Because right now, if I go over here, I think I have 152 USDT in order to play with. And I mean, I just made some other investments. I think I'm good with Quant and Algo, but I also should have some Litecoin in my possession. Just thinking Litecoin's a good one. Huh. I'm definitely tired. Waking up as early as I do. Aptos, no. Internet computer, no. VeChain, maybe. How far has VeChain run? VeChain over the last year, it's currently sitting at 20 or 2.4 or a $2 billion market cap. Gotten all the way up to a $15 billion market cap. I would love to see that happen over time. But again, I only have $146 to invest with. I don't want to do a 10x leverage. I mean, I could. Let's look at the last year. We've seen, lows of 1.9 cents. The lowest point being, I guess, this lowest point, which is 1.93, and it currently sits at 2.4. Highest point being 7 cents. I feel like this is a low point, but I don't know if VeChain is even offered over here. It probably is. It is. That's the thing, is I wouldn't want to see a 2.2 or 2.3. Because then what's the point, right? If I do a 10x leverage, then that means a 10% loss would be losing everything that I put in there, which would then end up being 2.4, not 2.4 cents, because it currently is at 2.4 cents. Because half that would be about 1 cent, which I don't expect it to get down to that point. So I wouldn't do a 2x. I could do a 5x leverage. A 5x leverage would mean that if it drops by 20%, 20% would end up being 4 or 5. So around that 2 cent mark as the lowest point. I think a 5x leverage is the safest. A 10x leverage just gets me a little bit more on top of that. So let's see. I wouldn't do a 20x leverage for sure. I definitely wouldn't do that. I could do maybe a little bit like an 8x. No. Okay. let's see. So then if I did an 8x, it would be around the 8%. No, it would be a little bit more than that. 12%. How much did I risk? Yeah, it was like 125. So it'd be about 12%, which would then come down to 21. So that's a little bit higher than what I wanted, especially after seeing, VeChain come down to some of these levels of 21. Sorry, this is 22. 22 coming down here to about 21 or 19. And going up to about 30. So yeah, we'll see how that plays. I have a stop loss on it, so we'll see what happens there. But it's a total of 40,000 for the share size, which means if it could find a way, which I don't think it will, but if it could find a way to get to a level of $1 or $85 billion market cap, then I'm looking at $40,000. I'll take that. But we'll see how that leverage trade plays out. But I have a lot of leverage trades in my possession at the moment. Some at higher leverages, some at lower leverages. I have an 8x leverage, 3x leverage, 10x leverages. The higher than 5x leverages are the risky ones. The ones that are 2x leverages really don't provide me with too much risk, right? My open price for JasmyCoin at 1.3 cents. I think my exit, my trigger price is 60% of a penny, which I don't expect it to get down there, but you never know. Same thing goes for, well, AVAX is at a 10x leverage. Caspa is at a 10x leverage. Compound is at a 2x leverage. And I have 20 of those or $500. And I think a 2x leverage brings me down to $24 would be the trigger price. And I don't expect that. So I'm trying to give myself a little bit of risk, but not a crazy amount of risk. Because if I lose this 122, oh well, I lose 122. I can gain that other places. But for something that's a $350, price in what I put in there, I want to do it at a lower X leverage, 3X. Um, Will you keep some profits in this bull market in stable coins to buy crypto later? Which paper stable coin? I read that. I'm holding 1.3. My average is that. Price prediction for SUI. I don't necessarily have a price prediction for SUI. I don't have SUI, so I can't say of whether I do believe in it or I don't. Um, but I've seen some positive things about them. Currently sits at a $12.8 billion market cap with $1.3 billion worth of volume. Know that you have 35% of the supply that's out there. I don't know as to what and how that max supply can be introduced, but it does have the opportunity to be there. So just always be wary about that. If we look at all history, which we don't have much. We have back from 2023, so we don't have the previous bull run involved in it. But it has gotten to a $5 price point, which was, a $14 billion market cap. So without knowing of what the history is, it's not really telling me as to kind of that level for if I wanted to give a price prediction. Typically, I'll go like 2 or 3x over what the all-time high was, especially as you look into crypto, which is more of a speculative, definitely more of a speculative market, where many just go based off of history and not based off of use case, because the use cases have not been fully established, worldwide and business wise and all of that stuff. So yeah, fully diluted value is a 35.96 billion dollar market cap. Um, JasmyCoin can 10x from current price. Yeah, easily. I mean, it's a 1.4 cent level. Yeah, can easily 10x up to a 14 cent level. So just looking at that from that perspective, not even getting to a level of $1, like, and how much you can gain within that. I was just explaining to, again, a coworker, same coworker, about cryptocurrency and the gains that I received in cryptocurrency versus the gains that I have in the stock market. The gains that I have in the stock market are more healthy, consistent gains that you can get, right? Gaining 10%, gaining 12%, gaining 20% over 2 years or something like that, right? But in the crypto market, it's completely different, right? Since it is a speculative market, and a lot of us, look at it as, what are these things going to be used for? What's going to be the most valuable cryptocurrency? What's going to come out of this market on top as the most usable cryptocurrencies, right? And the most supported cryptocurrencies, the most accepted cryptocurrencies. And when you look at it that way, I compare it to the internet, right? When the internet first got started, there were a lot of businesses that were like, that were set to fail because technology and using, the internet, using web 1, web 2 as ways to run your business, or ways to improve your business in a way, it wasn't accepted then. And cryptocurrency is not accepted either. Many people will tell you, many news outlets will tell you, don't buy into cryptocurrency because it's volatile. It's a market you don't understand. It's new, and just because it's new and exciting doesn't mean that it's going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And they will tell you that over and over again. But in reality, they don't want you to be the most profitable from this. They want hedge funds to be more profitable from this. They want banks to be more profitable from this. They want governments to be more profitable from this, which is fine, right? But in the meantime, while we see things getting established, you can tell it is a $1 trillion market cap to $2 trillion to $3 trillion, right, to $4 trillion market cap. It's going to be worth and used a lot more than people think, because the new news outlets will tell you, don't get into the cryptocurrencies here, only buy into what our government believes into, only buy into what we're telling you to believe into, right? Bitcoin, Ethereum, buy those, right? You have the opportunity to buy those, right? You're not going to get rich, or you're not going to gain anything from those plays, even though people are gaining 500, 1,000%, right, from some of these plays. And if they just found ways to invest more into the crypto market, you would be up a lot more. The problem is that they're telling you not to. They're telling you only invest a 1% or 2% stake into cryptocurrency. But there's a lot of people that are catching up with, millionaires that have been established through blood, sweat, and tears, but they don't want to risk any of those gains towards cryptocurrency because they don't understand it. Well, how about you just become knowledgeable? How about you do your research into those plays? Do your research into crypto in general, instead of just going, I don't believe in this because they've told me not to. Well, they've also lied to you constantly, right? The hedge funds, news, media, they will all lie to you to tell you this is the way that you need to go, or this is what you need to believe. And you've seen it time and time again. So if they're going to lie to you about that stuff, why wouldn't they lie to you about, cryptocurrency? They're making these investments. They're buying XRP. They're buying Chainlink, plays that some other people never heard of, because all you hear about is Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when I look at the crypto market, I look at it completely different. And, That's why I've been able to gain what I can gain, and that's why I will be able to play. There's people that have made, went from having tens of thousands or maybe on the borderline of having $100,000 to having 10 million, $20 million. Not only invested into crypto, but also in cash. We're talking about people that have made so much money off of the growth of cryptocurrency. And sometimes it's just standard growth. Bitcoin. Other times it might be something that's abnormal. They got into a play when it was $7 million market cap and it grew to 700 million. Right? They looked at a 100x in what they invested, and they invested $3,000 into it. Now they have $300,000 in that investment alone. They took that and invested into XRP, and then XRP exploded, and now they have a million or $2 or $3 million worth of gains. So it's just very interesting. I don't like when people will tell me, hey, I don't believe in that market because it's so speculative, and it's not something that's traditional. I mean, traditional investments will get you your standard percentages. But what if you want a little bit more? If you went into the stock market and went into some of those businesses that are speculative businesses, you could lose a lot, because you want to know why? Those hedge funds control a lot of what's being dealt with. So if you see a company that looks like it's failing, a hedge fund will make sure it fails, because then it looks great for them, because that business fails, they shorted the heck out of that position, they have billions of dollars put into there, and they will make sure that that fails from underneath you. It's not something where it's like, oh, it can come back. There's not much of a governmental impact here. There's not much of a hedge fund impact here with cryptocurrencies, especially outside of the top 25. So you have a lot of room to work with. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. It's about 7 o'clock, and also my voice is starting to get a little bit messed up. November 22, November 22nd, 2025 is the date that you guys see significant gains. Everything right now is hyperbolic. Hyperbole? Interesting. AOL and dial-up. Yeah. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell for more of these videos. Also, again, if you guys want to check out my link for BTCC, feel free to do so. You can get a 10% deposit bonus when you specifically use my link in the chat. Also, you can get extra bonuses up to $10,055, 40% lower trading fees, up to a 500x leverage, and there's a giveaway going on of 1,500 USDT going to 3 winners that sign up, deposit, and trade between September 2nd and September 16th. There's no VPN, no KYC required. There's a lot of cryptos to be able to be crypto futures to be able to be traded, 300 plus. You're looking at, again, a 500x leverage, and you can register to receive a $100 USDT coupon issued the next business day. So feel free to check it out. Link is in the chat. It's also in the description. I appreciate you all for being here and taking the time out of your day to watch me, and especially in the morning, if anybody wakes up early. I wish I could answer all the questions. I know, Brandon, you asked a question about micro cap coins and what I think about it, but I'll have to get into that in a future video. Make sure you hold that question for later and we can talk about it. But hit that like button, hit that subscribe